Hello. Today's video is going to be a little different than what I normally do. Usually, the kind of content I like to make is just having fun, very casual, not too crazy, and in some cases, activism. That one time, though. Maybe more, we'll see. But today, I am here to give my respects. Just something very important to me. Those of you who've known me long enough, which is like maybe 2, will know that I used to be on Vine. Vine went under. I made my respects to that with multiple videos. This one I'm just going to keep to a single video. Hopefully that will be enough. So I don't really talk about it here, but I have been a very big fan of Dragalia Lost pretty much since at least year 1. I was a few months late to the party with it, but I have been playing it ever since Christmas season of that year, so December. I want to give a little bit of backstory as to how I got into this game in the first place, because I find it very interesting. So, this was a time where I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. It was a really fun game. I enjoyed it a lot, and I probably would be still playing it today. Unfortunately, through happen circumstance, I lost the save data of that game, which was a lot. It took a long time to build up everything I had in that game. And despite my best efforts, I could not retrieve the account. Because I needed a goddamn Konami ID. Ew. Anyway. Yeah, part of me still misses that game. I had a lot of fun with an Arcana deck, casually. But, shout out to Arcana, by the way. For real, though. Nowadays I just get my Yu-Gi-Oh! Fix with Master Duel. And it's not that big of a deal I lost. I didn't spend any money on it or anything, so it's not crazy. As far as I was concerned, that mean that I had gone completely cold turkey on a daily mobile game. And I need some to secure that fix. Thankfully, Nintendo had come out with a mobile game of their own that I found interest in, but didn't really feel like I could commit to anything new at the moment. I suddenly had some free time. So, I entered Dragalia Lost, and immediately I am blown away by its presentation. Not many games have, good looking 3D, not many mobile games are very good looking, because they're all just JPEG stock images with some mild motioning or whatever. And yeah, this game does have JPEGs, but the gameplay aspect uses 3D models, and they looked amazing, and they even got better later on. But as it stands, it was a solid foundation to get me hooked, get me interested. This game looks good. It wouldn't take long for me to realize that this game's kind of buggy and glitchy, but not really that much. It was really just a visual thing, and I don't know how I didn't come across it at the beginning, but whatever. The game itself is very easy to look at it as very simply just just tap. But sometimes you tap and hold. Ooh. But it's really timing all of these different tappings and holdings and not that really made the gameplay very deep and complex in terms of how to execute certain actions. Because you're not just mindlessly tapping, at least not always. And I found that interesting. The story itself was also very interesting at first, because it was to me, it gave off the impression of it isn't traditional Japanese RPG, whatever, but they took like established anime tropes, kind of flipped them on its head in a sort of like either comedic way or in like a analytic way. And I found that neat. I found that very interesting. They pulled off stuff in this game that 90% of other Japanese franchises wouldn't even dare executing. So it's nice to see that, you know, that it brought some freshness to everything. On top of that, like the game itself, it's a free to download mobile game. Yeah, it's got gacha mechanics, and yeah, it is kind of annoying, but I would not dare call it pay to win for the most part, because you could complete like all of the necessary stuff in this game with just the free characters they give you. It is very generous and accepting for players who want to like build themselves up or whatever. And I think it was cool. It's by far the most generous free to play game I've ever come across. That said, you definitely would need certain units in order to partake in like the highest difficulty challenges the game has to offer, but that stuff is very made out to be optional. It's just for flexing, really. Now, why am I talking this game and singing its praises? When why now? Well, if you're watching this, then the Dragalia Lost game is no longer available. It has been delisted. The servers are shut down. End of service. All of that. It ran from September of 2018 to just now. Interestingly enough, it launched on my birthday. I just think that's neat. I love this game. The art is gorgeous. It's very cutesy and vibrant. The writing is solid. I did not expect for there to be modern lingo tastefully incorporated in an anime game. And on top of that, the story was fascinating to follow. The characters were really well developed and were like very engaging to invest in. The only thing I would say is I'm not a fan of the way it ended. I guess spoilers for the ending if you care, but it kind of ends with like, oh, this essentially God getting killed, and then the protag recreates the world in the image that is most ideal for everyone of his friends. Or just everyone in general. And I'm just like, that goes, like, I praise this game for being, like, usurping tropes. Like, why they fall into this trapping? Why couldn't they have just, like, to reinforce the themes of the narrative, actually, I don't know, pull a Steven Universe and just, like, convince him that what he's doing is wrong, bonds and friendship win out, and he sacrifices himself to give him his heart back, blah, blah, blah. He becomes best buds with True Bahamut again, and they reforge their bond. That would have been like a satisfying conclusion, in my opinion, because it would have reinforced things that were established to be the main importance of the story. But no, we just gotta have protag kill God, because that's how anime works, I guess. Thanks, Okada. Anyway, other than that, the story was very engaging with all the different characters, all the side stories too, which added to the world building, and all these things that will be left unanswered because the game is shutting down. They try to wrap up as much as they could, but you can only do so much. So, that being said, for those who have been involved with this community, I'm with you here, Ben. I mourn just as much as you. To those that, like, they won't see it, but for those who were involved with the making of this game, or at least like translating it, I guess, thank you so much. To the voice actors, to the artists, to the writers, like everyone in between. Yes, even you, Okada. Thank you for making the game what it is. This has been the most interesting 4 years of my life, for sure. Not just because of Dragalia, but it damn well helped. Over here, I'll showcase some of my favorite units. Now, keep in mind, these are my favorites in terms of aesthetics or what have you. I like when it comes to competitive viability, I might show some of them, but honestly, like, I just think they're neat. Which, by the way, if you recognize my username at all and have been on, like, in that Dragalia fan base, then you might know me better as someone who has posted some memes on the Reddit. Here are just a few that I've done. I did try to engage myself a little bit, but I was more of a lurker, if anything. But yeah, I figured I would make some sort of content to at least recognize that it existed and impacted my life greatly. With all that being said, will this go the way of Duel Links and have me needing to look for something to quench that thirst? Well, no. First of all, this game, it was announced that they would... It was pretty clear that this was going to happen since pretty much a year ago. Like, it was pretty obvious this is where it was heading. And, like I said, I got my Yu-Gi-Oh! Fixes through Master Duel right now, so that's been keeping me busy on the daily. There's also stuff like Multiverses or whatever, that's also... But it's like, whatever. So, in terms of daily content, like, honest to God, like, most of that's just going to be Splatoon. And Pokemon now, I guess. Say what you will about Scarlet Violet. Those games are fun despite it all. So, I guess with that, I am free. There's a lot more that I could say about Dragalia, but I don't want to overbloat this video too much. So, I'll leave it off with this. Thank you for all of the memories. You will be missed. Dragalia may be lost, but it is not forgotten. Thank you very much. Goodbye.